Hey, what's up everybody, this is Tattoo Bart and welcome back to the channel. In today's episode we're gonna review a machine by Dragonhawk. It's the Fold Pro. It's an adjustable style machine which you've seen in some other reviews that I've done recently, and we're gonna see how this one is. So stay along and let's dive down and look at the machine. Now here we have the box. So if you receive this package, you will find this box inside, and you can open it up. You'll find this little piece of paper with some user instructions on it, which can be helpful if you don't know anything about the machine yet, or you can just watch this video and I'll explain you. Got some nice packaging. You will see the machine right here, RCA adapter, and a little box which has some spare parts. It has the charger cable for if you need to charge the battery on this machine, because it is a wireless machine, and it has a RCA cable just in case that you want to use this machine wired instead of wireless. Then in here you will also find a couple of Allen keys ripped through the package. 2 Allen keys if you need to take the machine apart, and a new rotor blade for on your motor if it has to break down. Some rubber O-rings and all that. And let's have a look at the machine. So right here, the Fold Pro. I have been using it for the last couple of weeks, or the last week. I've done a lot of line work stuff with it, not so much shading as I did with the Bronc, but you can see it has an adjustable stroke, which I always find is really nice for a tattoo machine, because you will really have a all-in-one machine. Because if you have just a 4mm stroke, for some soft shading it might just be hitting a little bit too hard. So I like the adjustable kind of machines. If you want to adjust your stroke, you can do by doing so, and you will hear nice clicking when you hit the right stroke length. I haven't really used it that far down. I've used it at 3.6 if I was going to do a little bit more fine line. 3.9 is really nice for like a 7-round liner or maybe a 9-round liner, and then the 4.2 is something I haven't seen on any other adjustable stroke kind of machines, which is really nice for super bold outlining. If you need like a 11-round liner or bigger, this is probably going to be your go-to stroke because it has a lot more power in the lining. Of course, you can also use smaller configurations on the 4.2, but you just have to be a little bit more careful. But I do think that if you are, for example, used to a coil machine and you like the more old school kind of tattoos, then this will be probably a really nice pen style machine to get into if you are new for pen style machines. Now of course here you have your grip adjustments, where you can have your needle depth and all that, which is pretty standard for any other pen style tattoo machines. Now here you have the battery. If you press on, it will turn on, and you can see that I should probably charge the battery. I don't know if you can see it. I just have 2 bars. I have about 2 bars left. It's currently at a 8.0 volt. Now very obviously big minus button and a big plus button to increase or decrease your voltage. And if you press this button again, it'll fire. As you can hear, or probably not hear, this machine is running very quiet. You can barely hear it. Even if you have a cartridge in, you don't really hear that much. It's a really nice quiet machine. It doesn't vibrate at all, which is really comfortable to tattoo with. And I think overall, compared to the other adjustable pen style machines, this one is a lot shorter. It's a very small, and I think it's a sexy looking machine, to be honest. I really enjoyed working with this machine. It's very comfortable in my hands. It has 0 to almost no vibration, and pretty much after the tattoo your hand won't hurt more than if you have actually drawn on a piece of paper, which is really nice. Now if you don't want to use it with the battery, you can just click it off instead of screwing it off, which is the case on most of the other wireless tattoo machines. This one has like little spring bolts, and you can just click it in and out like so. And if you want, you can get your RCA adapter and plug that in. Then your machine is even smaller, and you can just hook it up to your power supply and use it like normal. Now I have only used this machine wireless, to be honest, and I have to say this battery is pretty small, and I have a feeling it doesn't really last that long. I think it was fully charged yesterday. I've used it for about 2 hours in total of tattooing, and it already consumed half of my battery. Now I have to say this was in a higher voltage range. It was more around the 7.5 to 8.5 volts, because I was doing lines only. But I do think it's a pretty short lifetime for a tattoo, especially if you're gonna do a big line work session and then you have to do some shading and color work. I'm not sure if this is gonna last you for a 6-hour tattoo session. But you can buy this machine with an extra battery, so you have 2 batteries, so you can just switch to another battery. I received the one with just 1 battery, which is fine by me. I don't really do a lot of very long sessions, but this is something you have to consider if you are doing a lot of longer sessions. Let's actually get some things ready so we can test this machine and show you how everything works. So give me a minute and I'll be right back. Alright, so I've drawn like a little freehand old school flower thingy over here. So I'm gonna use a 11 round liner to do the whole outline on this. I'm gonna do some small lines with my 3 round liner. I'm gonna pack little bits of black, and I'm also gonna do a little bit of shading with a 9 Magnum. I'm gonna use all the different strokes, but I will let you know what strokes I'm gonna be using. For the outline, I am going to start with my 4.2 millimeter stroke, and I am going to be using it around 8 volts. Now this machine is just super smooth and consistent with lining. I've really enjoyed lining with this, and it almost feels like I'm tattooing with a coil machine because it has so much power, or the Ambition Torp that I've also reviewed, because it just has so much power. Now let's quickly switch over to the 3-round liner, and I'm gonna set the stroke on 3.6. So let's fire it up again. Now I have noticed when I was tattooing with this, on a shorter stroke, I do like to keep it at a higher voltage. For some reason it seems to line a lot better, so I keep it at 8.5. And let's pull some tiny lines. Just gonna do a couple of small lines on the leaves. So here we go. I do maybe for the practice skin want to slow it down a little bit. So this is going to be at 8 folds. Just so I can take my time a little bit more on the lines. They're coming out a lot better. Now we're gonna keep it at the same stroke length. I'm just gonna slow it down just so I can do some stippling with it. So this is the lowest it will go. It's 4 folds. I'm gonna stipple shade a little bit in this part here. So here we go. And you can see it works very nice and smooth. Now sometimes it is nicer to do your stipple shading with a larger stroke, but I feel like if you can run the machine slow enough, it might work better with a shorter stroke, because you damage a little bit less since you are using a really small needle, and the dots will come out just a little bit more like a smooth shading rather than a hard stippling shade, which it depends where you want to go for. I mean, if you like the harsh look, then use a higher stroke. Now I'm still at the 3.6. Now this is really slow. I do think if you're gonna do color packing or something like that, you might want to use a higher voltage, but for stippling this is absolutely perfect. Okay, let's actually get the Magnum here. You can already hear by it hitting the practice skin, it's hitting really smooth and soft. I'm just doing some whip shading from basically the bold line to the line on the inside. touching up the edges a little bit. Alright, now let's do the other side. Alright, and now I'm just gonna black the other side of the leaf out, and I'm gonna use a 4mm stroke for that. So quickly switch it back to 3.9. Sorry, it doesn't have a 4mm stroke, it has a 4.2 and a 3.9. And I might increase the voltage just a little bit to 5.5. I'm just gonna color this in black. And as you can see, even with a 5.0 or 5.5 volts, this thing backs color really quick. So that's really nice. I really like that. I do a lot of color packing or lots of packing of black, and then this will really be a time saver. And there you have it. Cool. So yeah, I did pretty much all the bolt lining with the 4.2mm stroke. I did the packing with the 3.9, the stippling with the 3.3, and the shading with the 3.3. Just so it's a little bit softer. You could use the 3.6 as well for the shading. I think that will work really nice. I did the fine line with the 3.6 as well. And the stippling, yeah, I did the stippling too with the 3.6. So it is a very versatile machine, and it can pretty much do anything that you usually need maybe 2 or 3 machines for, which I think is really cool. So let's quickly go back up top and let's talk about this machine a little bit more. So honestly, this machine is actually one of my favorite pen style machines that I have been using in the last couple of years. I've tried and tested many of them, but I've always found like certain things that were not nice on that one machine. and definitely this one basically checked all the boxes for me. Now there are a couple of downsides on this machine. Not really downsides, there are a couple of things you might need to consider. The battery doesn't last as long as you might want it to. So if you want to buy this machine and you want to use it wireless, make sure you get maybe an extra battery so it will last you at least the whole day. Honestly, you could also just use the RCA plug and use it with any other battery pack that you like. If you want to use a more high-end battery or something like that, you can also do that if you use the RCA plug. And the adjustment, the stroke adjustment, can be really tough, especially if the machine is wrapped. It is pretty stiff to twist it around. Now this is also a good thing because it won't adjust the voltage on you while you're working, but I think it could be a little bit more loose, so it's just a little bit easier to adjust it while you're tattooing. But then again, I've only used this machine for a week, so maybe if I'm using it for a couple of months, these adjustments will go a little bit smoother and not as harsh as they are going now. But anyways, I've really enjoyed using this product, and honestly I want to thank everybody at Dragonhawk for giving me the opportunity to do a review on this machine. And that's also where you guys come into place, because you have also made it happen that companies are reaching out to me to do some reviews for me. So I want to thank all of you as much as I would thank Dragonhawk for the support. And make sure you keep supporting my channel. Make sure you are subscribed if you are not already. Make sure you watch my videos and like. Now, since I have 3 of these adjustable type machines, I want to do a 1v1v1. So I'm going to compare all these 3 machines together. That's hard to say. And see which one is actually the best, and maybe which one is the best for you, because maybe for me this one is really nice, but for your style and for your style of tattooing you might like another one. So I'm gonna put this one up to the Mars-U and the Bronc V12 that I reviewed last week and see how they match up together. So keep your eyes out for that video, because it's gonna drop anywhere in now and 2 weeks. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video and you learned something from this video today. Now let me know in the comments if you have a question about this machine, or if you have this machine and you want to know something about it. Also, I will link a coupon code down in the description below. If you want to buy this machine, it'll give you a little percentage off. And yeah, have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video.